Have you ever wondered how you can take a customer's success and turn it into your absolute best sales tool? Well, today we're going to break down exactly how to write a case study that doesn't just tell a story, it actually sells.
I mean, this is the big question for any business, right? You know what you do is valuable, you believe in it, but how do you prove it to someone who's never worked with you before?
Well, the answer is actually a lot simpler and way more human than you might think. You do it by telling a real story about real success.
And that right there is exactly what a case study is. It's not a dry report. It's a compelling story that shows your value in action, in the real world. Honestly, it's probably the single best tool you have for building that all-important trust and credibility.
So where do we start? Well, just like a chef preparing an amazing meal, it all begins with the prep work. You've got to get your foundation right. Before you write a single word, you need this four-step plan. You have to really dig in and analyze the situation, figure out what the real problems were, explore the different ways you could solve them, and then zero in on the best solution. This is what makes your final story focused and powerful.
Okay, with our prep work done, it's time for the main course. This is where we get into the heart of it all, crafting that core story that's going to grab your reader's attention. And you know, the most powerful way to do this is with a framework our brains are literally wired to understand and remember. The classic three-act story. It's so simple, but it works every single time.
So Act 1 is all about setting the scene. This is where we meet our hero, your client, and the challenge they're up against. You've got to paint a clear picture of the problem, the pain point that brought them to you in the first place. Then, in Act 2, you enter the story. This is where you lay out the solution. And it's not just about what you did, it's about how your specific approach was the perfect fit to solve their unique problem.
And finally, we get to the big payoff, the climax of the story, the results. This is the happy ending, where you get to show off the incredible, measurable success your client saw because of what you did together.
And when we talk about results, we have to be specific. Saying things got better is, well, it's pretty vague. But saying you delivered a 35% increase in revenue, now that is tangible proof that makes your story not just believable, but incredibly powerful.
Okay, we've got the core story down. Now it's time to add those finishing touches. You know, the little details that take a case study from just good to, wow, I need to hire them.
Let's be honest, there's nothing more convincing than hearing it straight from the customer. A direct quote is pure gold. It's that social proof that turns your claims into verified facts, and it adds a really crucial human element.
And remember, don't just tell people, show them. Things like charts and graphs can make complicated data super easy to understand in a single glance. They break up the text and help your key points really sink in.
All right, before we send this out into the world, it's time for one last check. We need to make sure we're not falling into some of the common traps that can totally sink a great case study. So here are a few big ones to watch out for. We've talked about vague results, but another huge mistake is forgetting a call to action. I mean, you've just done all this work to convince the reader, so you have to tell them what to do next. Whether that's book a demo or get in touch, make it clear.
This right here shows you exactly what I mean about being specific. The difference is night and day, isn't it? Increased engagement is okay, I guess, but increased user engagement by 50% in Q3? That's undeniable proof. You always want to aim for that level of specific impact.
So if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. A truly great case study doesn't just list a bunch of facts. It tells a compelling story. Your job is to weave those facts into a narrative that connects with your reader and proves your value without a shadow of a doubt.
So there you have it, the complete recipe for a case study that really, truly sells. Now the only question left is, what's the first amazing success story you're going to tell?